and a very warm welcome to Knit in the City. I'm Rebecca, the city is Malmö, and today I am back with a regular podcast episode where I talk about everything that I have been knitting on, my finished objects, and the plans that I have made for the upcoming months. Not months, month. So, as always, I am having light issues. Either it's too much light, or it's not enough, or it's a strange combination of both, which is the situation that we have here today. Because if I open the curtain, then I get flooded with light. So I had to put some extra light here for my eyes to be visible. So I really hope that they are. Spring is definitely here. Yesterday we had 20 degrees. And I think I haven't been outside today, and I also haven't checked the temperature, but it feels like it's quite hot today as well. I was walking outdoors yesterday wearing a skirt and flip-flops. So, I mean, I can't remember when I last did that. Okay, this is not a weather program, and apologize for just branching out a bit too much, but I mean, I am Swedish, so what am I gonna do? Not talk about the weather? Okay, let's just jump into the finished projects. This is what I have finished in April, and I have to tell you that April was a bit of a slog. I had a lot of only stockinette projects that were quite boring to work on, but towards the end of the month, like the last 3 or 4 days, I finished quite a lot of things. So now my mojo is back. And the first thing that I finished in April was the watch mitts, which is a Purl Soho pattern, a free pattern. And these I have made, I mean, it's so hot, I don't want to put them on, but I will for you. So yeah, these are the watch mitts from Purl Soho, and they're part of a set. There's also a watch cap, which is also made in this tutu rib. And I really like the way you make the thumb, which gives this really nice line here. And these are made from, now I have to think a little bit, Järbo fin silke mohair, which is a silk mohair, as I'm sure that you have deduced already. And the wool yarn is Filcolana Pernilla, which is a pure wool yarn. And I held these two together. And so now I have a full set with the Oslo hat that I made from the same silk mohair and a strand of Järbo Junior Raggi. And then also the Sophie scarf that I made from Filcolana Pernilla and not holding any mohair. So this is like the leftovers from both of these projects. I had to buy an extra ball of Filcolana Pernilla to be able to finish these. The second thing that I have finished is the Dahlia hair tie bow by the designer whose name I'm going to put in the frame. I don't have the bow here because I gave it to my daughter, but I will insert a picture. This is made from one strand of Järbo fin mohair silk, just held single, which gives it this really airy look that makes it slightly invisible in the picture. I'm sorry about that. So these are the two projects that I finished quite early on in April, and then I thought that I wasn't going to finish any other projects, but just this last week, I finished 4 other projects. And the first one is, I mean, you may say that this isn't really finished because it doesn't have the buttons. And I mean, I'm sitting in a quite tight space here, so I can't show you the whole thing at the same time. But I mean, I can take a picture. It's not, I mean, since it doesn't have the buttons, it doesn't have the look it's supposed to have anyway. But this is the retro button dress from Witre design. And this is knit from the bottom up. So you start down here with a must-stitch edge, and then you knit all the way up, just pure stockinette in the round until you reach the armholes, and then you shape the armholes, the neckline, and these straps. And the thing is that you also make this kind of, no, this is on the other side, this kind of strip of must-stitch that goes all the way here. So you don't do any back and forth knitting, because even though this has buttons, you can't really open them. Well, this doesn't have buttons, but the design has buttons. And I will buy those buttons and fix that as soon as I can. And after you've done the whole dress, you pick up and make the button band. I have even made the little buttonholes here. So I need 9 buttons for this. I made this a little bit shorter than the pattern called for, because this is knit in drop spell, which is a mainly cotton yarn. It also has viscose and linen in it. But I mean, I'm sure that this is going to grow. It feels really heavy when I hold it up. So I accounted for that and made it quite a bit shorter. Maybe it won't grow to the full length in the pattern, but I mean, we will see. It's going to be fine either way. It covers everything nicely, so there's really no problem. And I think when the buttons are attached, this is going to look a lot nicer. And I mean, I also didn't sew in all the ends. So yeah. So this is my almost finished project. And then I also made, I have knit and talked about before how I made a pair of tan shorts for each of my daughters. My oldest daughter got her shorts at the end of last summer, so she hasn't really worn them a lot. But now I have made her a tan top to go with the shorts. It is a bit wrinkly. It hasn't been worn, but it has been shoved in my backpack. And this is a really straightforward knit up until you reach the armholes. So this is just a tutu rib. Sorry about that, but you know that this happens in every episode. And then it's just stockinette in the round. So you start at the bottom. I didn't say that, but I guess you could figure that out. And then you knit this, you have like 10 stitches of rib at the front and both of the sides. Well, you can't really see that, but and then when you reach the armholes, this is where all the messy stuff starts, because when you're making the armholes and the V-neck, you also the instruction, this is like just like the shorts, you have instructions, and then at the same time more instructions, a second at the same time more instructions. So you really need to pay attention. It's not difficult, but you need to read ahead, and you also need to, I mean, I had a sheet of paper where I marked out all the different decreases that I made, because it's not the same rate of decreasing here and here, and also the rate changes as you go up towards the end of the strap. And after that is done, you knit the back, which is a lot more straightforward because you only have decreases for the armholes, and then there's a cute little ribbing here. And I will also insert a picture of my daughter wearing it, because I think it looks really good while it's on, when it's on, not while, when it's on. And yeah, the yarn that I have used is one of my favorite summer yarns, if not the favorite. This is Sandnes Sisu, which is a blend of cotton, viscose and linen. And it's just a dream to knit with, and it has a really beautiful drape. And since the yarn is really thin, it doesn't get this heavy cotton feel. I am also going to tell you that this V-neck has like it has a wedge here where you knit. It looks like a kind of a spider web in a triangle here. But my daughter didn't want that, so that's why I haven't knit that. And the same with the shorts. There's like a little opening on the sides of the legs that also were supposed to have that I also didn't make. But yeah, I mean, this is a really nice color, like this dirty white, or I mean, it's not really beige, it's like a winter white, I guess. And I bought 6 balls of these are 50 gram skeins for the shorts and the top. And these are knit. This is the smallest size. I think S is the smallest size. So I knit both of them in the smallest size. And I had quite a lot of yarn left over. So then I decided to make this little kerchief. And I mean, sorry, it's going to be blocked. And so that it will have a triangular shape. Right now it's just, it looks kind of weird. And just this moment, no, this is the Penelope kerchief, yes. And it has this, and I held 2 strands of the thin line together to make this. And what was I going to say? Yeah, it still didn't use up more than like half a skein, I think. So I still have almost, I think I have 1 full skein and like little bits and bobs of 2 others. So it's like a skein and a quarter maybe that I still have left after making all of these things. So, I mean, I can make one of these for her sister as well. So this has this really nice lace panel. And then you make the I-cord ties. And then just go on making I-cord all across this. And this makes kind of a weird shape. But, I mean, it's gonna block out, I'm sure. Because I have seen the pictures from the designers, from the pattern. And yeah, so you just tie it around the back here. So this is now like a 3-piece set, which is great. And next I'm going to start making the top for her sister. I made the turquoise shorts for her, so I have some turquoise yarn to make the top. Yeah, and the last finished object for April is what I call the Mousseux cutoff, because this is like 2 long sleeves with a little bit of sweater up top. And this, my oldest daughter wanted a sweater like this, and it has these bell sleeves. The Mousseux is a Purl Soho. No, it's not a Purl Soho. It's an Espace tricot pattern. And it is a free pattern as well. That's why I mixed them up. And I used the pattern to knit the body and the sleeves. But then I just stopped. I mean, I separated for the sleeves and then I knit, okay, hard to show, this much after the separation. And I made another modification because you just knit the sleeves straight. And then on the last round, you make a decrease so that it's kind of like a rounded shape on the bottom. But she didn't want that, so I just bound off. And then this is well, that's not the nicest part. So then this is an I-cord around the sleeve edgings. And here, as you can see, this is a round yoke. This is just like a rolled hem. I just let it sit like that. I think that's what you do in the pattern as well. And in my first attempt with the body, I made a 1-1 rib. But when she tried that on, she didn't think it looked good. And I actually agreed. So I just ripped that out and knit so that this will have a rolled hem. It does roll like a lot, but I haven't blocked it yet. So I'm going to block it out and hopefully get it to roll just this much. is the idea. And this is knit from Drops Fable. I've held 2 strands. The pattern has you hold 2 strands of lace mohair. So this is a little bit thicker, but I use the same needles. So the fabric is a little bit thicker, but it's not bigger. And I knit the smallest size. What else was I going to say about that? Nothing, I think. That's it. This is the Mousseux cutoff. And hopefully she will get a chance to wear it before it gets too hot. But well, there's always evenings. Okay, and now I am going to talk about a little bit about the plans that I made for April and how did that go. So this is going into my unfinished objects that are on the needles that I have been working on. So the word I'm looking for is whips. Wow, this is just going back and forth all over the place today. Okay, my whips. But I will talk about my whips according to the plans that I made for April, so that I don't have to bring that up twice, because I mean, that must be annoying for you. So the UFOs I wanted to work on for April was the socks that I am trying to write a pattern for. Let's see if I can open this bag. I've also had some fun making, I took out the sewing machine. I'm not a sewist. I took out the sewing machine, found some scrap fabrics, and I made a whole lot of bags. The funny thing about this bag is that this is like this zipper. It's an invisible zipper, but I didn't know that, so I put it the way that you're supposed to put a normal zipper, which means this is inside out. So I have to open it from the inside. I actually sewed I made a few stitches here to just stop me from closing it fully, because if I do, I can't get it open again. Yeah. But the socks, I had already made a sock that is my size, which I have showed you like 100 times. Then I started a sock in the smallest size, and this is Sandnes Sisu, by the way. And then I knit that one in Drops Fable, which is a yarn that is a little bit thinner than Sandnes Sisu. So I ended up getting a sock that was too small for either of my daughters to put over their foot. So, and that was not good, because it was supposed to fit like at least almost their size. So then I bought some more Sandnes Sisu and started knitting the smallest size in this lovely red color. I have tried this on my youngest daughter and it does fit her. She has to struggle a little bit, but she is on the high end of the size anyway, so I think this is going to work out. This is how far I've come. And I mean, I had a sock knitting craze last summer, and I'm still suffering from that, in that I don't really feel like making socks anymore. But yeah, some progress has been made. And the third and last UFO that I was going to work on in April is Sara, which is a tank top that is buttoned up the front or in the back. You can wear it either way you want. This is a Sari Nordlund pattern, and it's free from the Witre website, which is a Finnish yarn company. I mean, this is quite difficult to show on camera. It has this really simple knit and purl pattern, and I have knit this in 100% cotton yarn that is no longer available, and I also don't know what it's called because I've had it for such a long time. This is like a really repetitive and quite boring knit. So, I mean, I have this progress keeper to show you that I actually have knit on this, even though you can't really see it. I was going to tell you as well that the reason that I have so many projects to show you this time is, I mean, I said in a previous episode that I had like a plan for how to finish all my UFOs. And that was every time I had a big chunk of time to sit down and knit, I was going to knit on something really boring for 15 minutes, or like one of my UFOs. I couldn't really get myself to do that, so I had to invent a game. I just found a random number generator online. And then I wrote down all my UFOs and just put a number in front of each of them. And then I used the random number generator to tell me which project to knit on. So then I just knit for like an episode or whatever I was watching, and then I could pick a new number or listening to or whatever. So that is the reason that I have been knitting a little bit on a lot of things in the past month. Yeah. Okay, the whips I had decided to work on for April was the Kerr sweater. Where are you? Where? Okay, the Kerr sweater by Rebecca Clow. And it is hiding somewhere here. Okay. Here. Yes. But I actually, well, that's just some yarn. I actually finished this in March. So I could just strike it off my list right away before the month even started, which was really great. This is knit in Klippan tvåtrådiga, which is a 2-ply wool yarn. It is said to be a sport weight, but it is rather thin, which is good because this makes this sweater not so heavy. I mean, I have a lot of DK weight sweaters, so it's nice to have a lighter one. It's still really warm because this is some rustic wool. I have been wearing this a bit, and I think this is actually a really nice green that I feel very comfortable in. I didn't know that this was a green that I could wear, so that was like a happy coincidence. I really like this pattern, it's super beautiful. I had a plan to knit this for like all the family members, but to be honest, this pattern is not, I mean, at least not my brain. I mean, it's not something that you memorize very easily. I also had to rip back a few times because I made a mistake. The good thing is that by the end of the round, you already know if you made a mistake, because then things don't line up. But I think the result is really striking, and this is a beautiful design. It's really well thought out. So as you can see, this is a drop shoulder design. And you start at the back, knit flat for a bit with and I think it has German short hose in the back. It has some kind of short hose in the back. And then you pick up here along this line for the front, and then you knit down. And then when you're under the arms, you just start knitting in the round. And then almost right away you start with a pattern. And in this pattern, there is also a variation where you can knit like a thinner band if you don't want to do all of this color work. The clever thing about this pattern is that it also has two different charts, yes. One where your main color is the darker color, and one where your main color is the lighter color. And the first chart is the one where your main color is the lighter color, which means, since I don't read ahead, I knit from the wrong chart. But I noticed after like 5 rounds, so I didn't have to rip out that much. This also has a double folded collar, which looks really nice, and since this yarn is rather thin, it doesn't get like a super bulky feel to it. And this is also, when you do this, you have the option to knit the collar onto the rest of the sweater here, instead of binding off and then sewing it on, which I really appreciate, because me and sewing were not friends. I mean, at least not hand sewing. Yeah, so that's a lot of talk about a sweater that I already talked about in the previous episode. But yeah, really love. Okay, next one is the tan top that I already talked about. So that one I finished, which is great. Then onto something that I didn't finish, and that is the 9 p.m. tank that is over here. Oops, curtain coming down. This is a pattern by Tiffany Tai, and I have not knit a lot on this because I'm on the section where you have to do a lot of double knitting, and that's not fun. So you knit the front panel, the back panel, and then you do these double knitted bands here and here. And after you've done that, you start under the armhole, which is very clever because there you can't see if anything is wonky. And then you do the double knitting along this whole side panel, and then over the shoulder here and back. And then you're gonna sew these two together. So I finished the first strap, and I haven't started the second one yet. I mean, this is a tangled mess of because you have to cut the yarn so many times here. So this is going to be a really annoying one to when you're about to sew in all the ends. I've also noticed that with the double knitting, you have to like be really, because you get these bumps very, very easily. So you do have to pay attention. And I mean, I ripped back a few times and did things over when the bumps were like really bad. But I mean, the rest of it, I'm just gonna hope that blocking is my friend. I am knitting this in Yarnwick Blenda Gotland. And this is a Merino Gotland blend, which is really nice. And I am not making this into a summer tank top. But this is rather something that I'm going to be wearing under a cardigan or a shirt or something like that when it's a little bit colder, like early spring, autumn, that kind of thing. And yeah, coming along slowly. And the other thing, no, that was all of my whips. And then for the new cast-ons, then I wanted to cast on the Robinson wrap cardigan, but when I felt the urge, I had like 100 crowns left on my account. That is like less than $10. So I decided that I'd rather have breakfast next day than buy a pattern. But I was also feeling this urge so badly that I just had to do something. So I went to the ballerina wrap top pattern from Alexandra Tel, which she has a free version on her website. So, and this is also the same kind of wrap. It doesn't look exactly the same, but I was thinking that I could knit up to a point where the ribbing starts on the Robinson wrap top, and then just figure that out. And I don't think that should be too hard. I think I'm going to buy the pattern at some point anyway, because it's a lovely pattern, and yeah, you know, when money starts flowing in again. But yeah, what I have done, let's see if I can find this. I have projects all over the place. No idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I think this is it. So here it is. the ballerina wrap top / Robinson wrap cardigan. And I'm still making increases for the wrap. It's not fully around my body yet. And this is 2 yarns held together. I think you can see that. And it is, I only have a little bit left of this one. This is the Järbo Bamboo Raggi, which is a woolen bamboo blend. I think it's a merino bamboo blend. It's a sock yarn. And this second one is Kidsilk Erle, or Tynn Kidsilk Erle, I think, from Dahlia, which is a Norwegian yarn company. And this is like, this is a silk mohair blend. It does have a little bit of wool in it as well. But it is really lovely colors, and it just matches up perfectly with this green one. So as you can see, this is a raglan construction, and it's knit from the top down. And you make a whole lot of increases to make this a wrap top. I really like how these yarns look together. And that's about all I have to say about this one. Okay, the other 2 cast-ons I have not cast on. And that is mostly for the reason that, well, it is a combination of having like a really poor month and also not wanting to start up another all stockinette project. Because what I wanted to cast on was my favorite things knitwear blouse number 1, which is all stockinette. And the other one was the Darjeeling blouse. It does start with a picot cast on edging thingy, but the rest of it is then stockinette. So I just left them for a later date. And that gets me to what I wanted to have finished for April. And that makes me remember that there was a UFO I didn't talk about. But what I wanted to, I can talk about it now. We still have time. The thing that I wanted to have finished was this sweater that I'm making for my oldest daughter. I already made one for my youngest that she has worn a few times. Just dropping a few stitches here that I want to pick up before it's too late. This is knit in Viking Alpaca Brise, which is a blow yarn. And it has a cotton core, and alpaca is blown into this tube. And if you have seen this before, you've also heard the stories. Yeah, but my mother bought this yarn to knit this for the girls, but then she just found it too much work with all this color work, and she asked me if I could knit them. So that's what I've been doing. Not on her schedule, but I mean, she just has to suit herself if she gives a project to me that I didn't ask for. But yeah, I have actually finished the body of this, and that feels really great, because I mean, when I knit the first one, I thought that the body was quite fun to knit up, but the arms were annoying. When I'm doing this for the second time, the body is also boring to knit. And the first one was actually supposed to be for my oldest daughter, but it turned out too small, so that's why little sister is wearing it. So now, and I knit that one from the biggest size in the pattern. So now I had to add like a repeat of the pattern. So this has one extra repeat. And then I'm also making more of the increases for the sleeves. And I have actually started on the first sleeve. And this is knit on like 9mm needles. I mean, they're so huge. So it shouldn't take that long, but it's just so boring. Yeah, at least I knit on it, because it has been like for, I mean, many months months it has been lying and I haven't knit on it, so this is progress. And I have a lot. And yeah, I was gonna say that I knit myself a sweater in Drops Air, which is also blow yarn, and it pilled like crazy. And now my daughter has been wearing this sweater, and I can tell that this one also pills. So I guess maybe with these yarns, you can't escape the pilling. But it doesn't pill as badly as Drops Air. So, I mean, if you're okay with some pilling, this should be an okay choice. Okay. The other thing I also wanted to finish was the socks that I'm knitting and writing a pattern for, that I showed you before. And they're, oh, my hair is crazy. I just washed it. Okay, but that also didn't happen. Like, I have to knit a sock in the biggest size as well before I can confidently post the pattern. Yes. That was April. I have a few other whips that I have been working on during April. And I will show them to you as well. The first one is what's on top here. This is the Simple Thing by Melina Brell. And this is quite similar to the Sophie scarf in that it has this I-cord that you knit while you're knitting the scarf. And it is also a garter stitch scarf. But the difference is that you make the increases a lot more frequently. So this looks more like a triangular mini shawl than an actual scarf. And I was going to knit up half of the yarn and then start decreasing. But that would have made this like a really, really short scarf that I could barely tie around my neck. So I decided to just finish the yarn and then buy another skein of each of the yarns. And I will now show you the yarns, if I can find the balls. Yes, one of them is here. The other one is here. So yeah, this is the Knitting for Olive Merino in Cherry Blossom. And this is the Isager silk mohair, I think it's called, which is like the softest silk mohair I have ever touched. I probably told you that before, but it's just divine. So I'm holding these two together. And as you can see, I have nearly finished the first balls. And I'm not about to buy this yarn anytime soon. So, I mean, once I'm done with this, the shawl will have to rest for a bit. But yeah, I mean, this is like a mindless knit that you could just pick up while watching TV or whatever. And the next one in the pile, I mean, this is really ridiculous. I shouldn't even be showing you this, but I am. This is a shorty sock that I will put the name of and the designer's name on the screen because I can't remember what either of them are called. But I knit this last summer and then it had just been lying around. And then the random number generator told me that I had to start the second one. And I did. But what I didn't do was read the pattern. So this is so lame. I made a 2-2 rib here. And when you look closely at this, you can see that this is a 2-1 rib. Maybe you can't see that, but I mean, I have been counting the stitches, so it is. So I'm going to rip this out and start over. So, I mean, you could actually consider this not having been knit on at all. Yeah. Okay, next one. And the next one is a balaclava that I am knitting for my youngest. And this is a funny story. I made myself a balaclava last winter. And the kids were like, ho, 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 well, that looks funny, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, this is actually very in fashion. And they're like, haha, yeah, right. And then now she comes to me like a month ago and I want a balaclava. Okay, you want a balaclava? Sure, I'm gonna make you one. So this is most of the head. And this is, I only have the silk mohair left. This is a Drops Kid Silk that I held with a Drops Fable. Yeah. And these are the leftovers from the Sophie scarf that I made her for Christmas. So this is going to match the Sophie scarf. And this is another pattern that I am going to put on the screen for you. And also the designer's name. Because with all of these projects, I cannot remember all the names. But yeah, and as you can see, the Drops Fable has come to an end. The ball of Drops Fable has come to an end, and I didn't have any more. So I have to, and I mean, I don't think this is going to be enough either. So I have to buy 2 more balls for this to get finished. But I have no yarn store in the vicinity that carries this yarn, so I would have to order online, and then you have a shipping fee, which means I would have to order more yarn to make that sustainable. And I am not allowed to order any more yarn at this point in time. So, but at the same time, she's not going to wear a balaclava during summer. So if this is done in the autumn, that is going to be totally fine. Yes. The next one I've been working on is like, this is an old sweater that I mean, it's not an old sweater, but I started this a while ago. And I just found it back at the house. And this is the Compass by Tincan from their beautiful book, Strange Brew. That has all of these gorgeous colorwork yoke sweaters. And they come in sizes from like newborn to big man, which is amazing. And this book also goes through how to construct your own colorwork sweater, which is really great. So you could just pick any pattern, and it also has different gauges. Like I don't remember if it's 2 or 3. I mean, I know there is fingering and DK. Maybe there is one other, not sure. But yeah, so you can custom make your own. This is knit in Volevo Baby Merino, which is like a cheap merino yarn. And I am not making this for myself, as you can probably tell. This is for my youngest daughter. And as you can see, the choice of colors is not the best one because there isn't a lot of contrast. And I asked her how she felt about it, but she said it was fine and that she would wear it. And it will probably be a riding sweater, but that's good because she needs that. She's growing out of the other 2, which are also Tincan patterns actually, and they're also from the Strange Brew. It is the one that looks like mountains. I mean, I can pop a picture. But yeah, and I have been knitting on the body. I have a little bit left to go before I can start making the ribbing. Yeah. The next one, this one, oh my goodness. I'm really sorry to spring this on you again. These are the Boyland from Caitlin Hunter. I'm not going to talk about them. They're like painful. I mean, this pattern, there's nothing wrong with this pattern. This pattern is great. I've just made all the mistakes that you can ever think of, and I had to rip out like 100 times. And I'm at the point where I almost want to just frog these and forget about them. But I will tell you this. I will not talk about these socks again in the podcast. until I've either finished them or frogged them. And that's that. Okay. Next. The next one, oh, this is also, I'm so sorry. This is Järabacka by Evelina Roos, my lovely toe-up Christmas socks that I will never finish. These are knit in a red jassock yarn, the red one. Then a white wool yarn that I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. It is a sock yarn. And then if you ever get to the cuff, there is like a leaf motif, like a laurel leaf, I think, that I am going to knit in this Järbo Junior Raggi. And that's all I'm going to say about this. I have knit like a centimeter on these. Okay, and the same for the next one. This is what the random number generator does. So sorry, out of my hands. But let me just check around so I don't lie to you. Yeah, this is the last project that I have been knitting on during April. And this is Fastos Kofa by Maja Karlsson from her lovely book Koftor that I unfortunately think is not available in English. She is Swedish, the book is in Swedish. I mean, perhaps there is a book in Norwegian or Danish or Finnish or something. I'm not sure. I have no idea actually. I'm just guessing here. But yeah, this is a really pretty cardigan that I knit way too big and had to rip out and start over a size down. Fortunately, I didn't knit much more than this before I realized that this was going to be huge. And I am knitting this in Klippans tvåtrådiga, this 2-ply wool yarn that I also made the Kerr sweater from. And then this white one is, I always forget what this is called, Libsticka, finsk lantras. It's a Finnish sheep breed that this is made from, and it is a rustic yarn, but it's kind of shiny and soft for being a rustic one. I mean, it's really nice. Yeah. And both of these yarns are perfect for color work because they're grabby. And as you can see, this is how much I've knit since last time. So not very much, but and also this, yeah, as you can see, this is a bottom-up construction, and I am going to steek it when it is finished, whenever that may be. Yeah, no rush, because this is going to be pretty warm, I think. Okay, that's it. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my plans for May. And May actually already started. I think, yeah, it's the 2nd of May today. So, the UFOs I'm going to work on. I mean, this is going to be fun. I have decided to dedicate the May month to either frogging the boilens or finishing them. I mean, this is do or die at this point. So yeah. And the second one is another one that I feel like a hate-love kind of thing towards. And this is Vardag by Kajsa Vuorela. And this is a Järbo pattern, and it is now a free pattern, I think. Well, check it out on Ravelry. This is a really pretty brioche sweater, kind of cropped, that I am knitting from Järbo Svensk Ull, which is a really nice rustic Swedish wool. Looks like this. Is such a beautiful color, this blue. And I ran into trouble with this one. I don't think I have been talking about this actually, because this has been just languishing in the UFO corner. Because brioche, I mean, I'm not very good at brioche knitting. And I managed to finish the body. It has those nice little slits and the back is a little bit longer. This is a really nice construction too, because you get this really pretty seam here on the shoulders. I mean, I don't even remember how this was constructed, but you start somewhere up here. It was very clever and different. But what happened then was that I picked up stitches for the arm. I started knitting, or the sleeve. I started knitting, everything was fine. Then you were supposed to make decreases, and my brioche decreases, they were very ugly. So I knit on for a bit. I mean, I don't think I knit much more than this. And then I realized that I cannot live with this. It just looks too bad. So I ripped it out and I haven't looked back since. But now I decided to look back and just deal with this because I really want to wear this. It's so nice. I mean, I could just keep it like this and wear it as a vest. The problem with that is I don't like when vests have these really wide shoulder thingies. I mean, I want them to be like more smaller. I think that looks nicer on me. I don't know. It's just a thing. It's a hang up. It's a pet peeve. Okay. But yeah, so I'm really gonna try and knit at least one sleeve during the month of May. And I hope I will succeed. And I really hope that the decreases will look better this time. Okay. That was the UFOs. I only picked 2 because they are both really painful. Then the whips I want to finish is the tan top, but I mean, I already finished that, so there you go. It's so great when you can cross things off even before you start working on the upcoming month. The second one I cannot cross off, that is the sweater I'm making for my daughter, this one. Yeah. After this, I will get onto the balcony and start working on it. Yeah, because I think it will feel nicer if I'm in the sun and things are lovely. I could have a cup of coffee. Okay, yeah. And I also wanted to work on the Mousseux. I mean, this is so great. This I can also cross off. The only thing I need to do is I need to block this. So I'm gonna block this before the end of May. I think I can do it. The cast-ons, I have decided to finally cast on the Darjeeling blouse because I have the yarn and I really love the pattern. So yes, that's going to happen. And actually, yeah, I didn't put this down, but I should definitely start on the tan top for little sister. And I think I can I think I have the yarn here somewhere, so. Yeah, that I should also do. What I want to have finished is the tan top, but it's already finished. But I can keep it like that, and then that could be the tan top for little sister that I want to have finished. The Mousseux, that is finished, great. And then the sweater that I'm knitting in the blow yarn. I really want to finish it, but I mean, actually, she's not going to be able to wear it until it's autumn again. But yeah. I will try, I'll do my best. And now I'm going to go make some coffee, I will take my knitting, I will sit on the balcony, and I hope you will have an equally nice day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!